Okay, what is going on, everyone? How are you doing? Hopefully the answer is well. I am Darkside Phil, and welcome to my first of two gameplay streams for the day. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, two streams today in in celebration, I guess is what I should say, of the release of Dishonored 2. That's probably why I said honor, because the name of the game is Dishonored 2, and I had that in my head. Yes, the sequel to the smash hit new IP from 4 years ago from Bethesda. Kind of an open world RPG action hybrid where you are using your mysterious supernatural powers to infiltrate places that no normal human can go. If you remember, there was this big conspiracy theory / mystery suspense thriller style plot to the first game. You know, who was trying to assassinate the ruler of the country. You were supposed to be the bodyguard of that woman, and you know, trying to investigate the conspiracy against the government and finding out that you were actually being framed for a lot of stuff. And I'm not going to go into the full plot of the damn thing because, simply put, it was a great game. I really liked it. And I remember, I don't know why, but I remember, you know, at that time, a lot of people were kind of on the fence about the game, even though the game sold well. A lot of people were like, it's not the best game ever. I like Fallout better, or I like Skyrim better. Because I think ultimately what ends up happening is that whenever Bethesda releases a game, everyone kind of holds it up in comparison to the other games that Bethesda releases. I liked it. I liked the art style. I certainly liked the gameplay aspects of the game, and I thought that it was quite a good game, and it was one of my favorite playthroughs of that year. I remember having it in my Game of the Year awards and everything for that year. I actually thought it was really good. So, a lot of fun. Now, we've heard a lot about Dishonored 2 over the years, right? That they were going to add a whole new character, so now you can play the game from two different perspectives, and that each character, Corvo or Emily, would have different abilities, and therefore it would lend itself to replayability. That's pretty awesome. And if anything, the fact that the first game had the choice between violence and non-violence, and it would actually change the game world, kind of allows us to say, wow, this is going to be interesting, because now not only do you have that choice in this game, you now have two completely different characters. So you could do a Corvo non-violent run and an Emily violent run, or vice versa. Really, you could do 4 playthroughs of this game, right? And probably get some significantly different experiences out of it. At least, that's what the game lends us to believe. There's been a lot of games that have the promise of something like that, and then when you actually do it again, it's not that big of a deal. I actually remember 2 years ago, infamous Second Son, right? Oh, you could play it as good or evil, and it'll significantly change things that happen in the game. You've got to do 2 playthroughs. And I'll be honest, when I did my second playthrough, I was so disappointed because really almost nothing had changed. A few powers here or there were tweaked and the color of the powers, but outside of that, most of the plot was almost exactly the same, and really there was no reason to replay that game, right? Let's hope, fingers crossed, alright, that the truth is here that the game does actually have replayability. Because people are already asking me to play the game a second time when I haven't even touched it yet. So here's the deal. First of all, today there's going to be 2 gameplay streams. Right now there's going to be one that's around 3 to 3.5 hours. Later tonight there's going to be another one that's going to be about another 2 hours. So I'm going to get around 5 to 5.5 hours of Dishonored 2 under my belt today on launch day. And that's great. I'm looking forward to that big time. Okay? Tomorrow, another stream of it for about 3.5 hours. Now here's the thing. Tomorrow night, originally what I had planned was that it was going to be the day when I go out and I do my errands. And I actually had this big thing planned where I was going to maybe see Doctor Strange, because I really want to see that movie. But right now, things are kind of conspiring against us a bit. Leanna's a little bit under the weather, and I don't know if she's going to be up to, you know, going out and having a full day out tomorrow night or whatever. I'm not sure. I mean, who knows what's going to happen. So tomorrow night, there's not going to be any more gameplay. Okay, I just want to throw that out there. There will definitely not be any more gameplay. There will be one stream guaranteed tomorrow. Whether or not there'll be anything else tomorrow, I'm not even going to promise anything. But Tomorrow, only one gameplay stream for Friday, alright? Saturday, I'll be here all day, okay? So I may do another 2 sessions of Dishonored 2 on Saturday, alright? Or maybe what I'll do is, since it seems that this game may be one that I'm going to be doing 2 playthroughs of, one for Corvo and one for Emily, what I could maybe do Saturday night is do a impressions video on what I think of Dishonored 2 at that point. Because think about it, 5 or plus more hours of gameplay today, 3 more hours tomorrow, and maybe another 3 hours on Saturday. So you're talking, you know, anywhere from 8 to 12 hours of gameplay I'll have of the game by then. Maybe putting out an initial video of my thoughts on KO Gaming could be a good idea, because I might not want to review the game until I do a second run, and I don't honestly know when I'm going to be able to finish a second run. Okay? You know, we'll see. I don't know. It's going to depend on how long the game actually is, which I don't know. How much difficulty I have with the game, which I don't know. I remember the first game, there were some very tricky parts, and there were some parts that weren't so tricky. You know, all depended on what was going on. And for the most part, the game went swimmingly, but I remember there were a few pretty challenging parts in the first game. And if I remember correctly, the playthrough of the first game was around 12 to 15 hours long. But don't quote me on that. I certainly didn't go back and start counting the videos or whatever, but I kind of remember in the back of my head that's about how long it was, alright? Now, something else that I want to say before we go, okay? The bottom line is, I am not, okay? I am not promising that I am going to be going off of poll results from Twitter last night. And I know that's kind of confusing to some. I said, what are you talking about, right? Hold on. Hold on, one stupid thing on the stream channel. Let me close this. There we go. It was distracting me. Okay. Yeah, last night I had a poll on Twitter. And it was the middle of the night. It was kind of like I was sitting there relaxing on my couch. And I was getting tired. We're heading to sleep soon. And I was like, you know what the hell? Let's ask the viewers, the people who follow me on Twitter, what they think. So I put up a poll. What would you like to see most in my playthrough of Dishonored 2? And of course the options were a pacifist run with Corvo or a violent run with Corvo. And then also a pacifist run with Emily and a violent run with Emily. And the winner of the poll was the non-violent run with Emily. Now, I don't know if it's because people think that the non-violent runs are more challenging, or I don't know. You know, I don't know why people leaned towards that. But I'm going to tell you right now, I am not determining my playthrough via the poll. I never said I was going to. Okay? And just because I ask for public opinion doesn't mean that I 100% of the time have to do it. I don't know why people think that, like, because a poll exists that you have to be a slave to it. If anything, if you haven't noticed, the presidential polls that everyone was putting out saying that Hillary was going to win by a margin of victory here wasn't exactly accurate. So I'm just saying, just because that's what won the poll doesn't even necessarily mean that's what most people want to see. Okay? So, that being said, I'm going to be honest here. I'm probably going to do... I'm leaning right now towards my first run being with Emily. And the reason being, because she's a brand new character, she's going to have different abilities from Corvo. Rather than just going through the game again with Corvo and doing the same abilities again, I think my initial run through this game would probably be more entertaining using the new character. In fact, I am really desiring to play with the new character first, okay? With the expectation that if I beat the game and I enjoyed the playthrough, that I'll probably want to do a second run with Corvo. Alright? So there you have it. So, that's what I'm thinking of doing. Definitely Emily. Now, will it be non-violent? Alright. I don't know. Will it be a mixture? I don't know. The thing is, I know that if you go pure non-stealth, that the world is one... I said non-stealth. If you go pure stealth, the world is one way. If you go pure violence, the world goes into, like, chaos mode. But I don't know if I want to restrict myself to I have to do 100% of one or the other. Because there might be some situations that it's just easier to sneak by, while other situations it's easier to attack. So I don't know. I'm not sure what I want to do. Alright? I'm not sure. But I'm not limiting myself to a poll that I posted up at midnight my time last night in the middle of the night just to see what the heck people had to say about it. That's kind of ridiculous. And I don't understand why people think that that's what polls are for. They're not. That's not what they're for at all. It's called market research. It has nothing to do with, oh, you're voting for, you know, a candidate in an election. That's not what a poll is. That's on Twitter from a YouTuber. Okay. So that's the deal. I'm looking forward to it. At the very least, starting today, all right, through Monday is pretty much primarily going to be Dishonored 2. Now, some people are talking about the elephant in the room, the leftovers, the things that Phil didn't do this week, all right? What is that? Well, this week, I did not get a chance to try out the Call of Duty Infinite Warfare Zombies mode, and I also really didn't play much of the Infinite Warfare multiplayer at all. I played like 5 or 6 matches of it that were super fast, and I was barely even learning how to play it yet. And the bottom line is I just ran out of time. Every day here I've been putting out multiple sessions of gameplay and doing as much as I can to finish everything up. And there's only one of me. If there were 2 of me, I'd have one person working on Call of Duty and working on edited videos, and I'd be working on this Dishonored, and you know what I mean? But I don't have a team of people. I've always been a one-man show. So I'm doing my best to cover all these new releases. You know, I kind of put my ear to the ground to listen, and what I'm hearing here, all right, is very simple. What I'm hearing here is, play Dishonored. Yeah, Call of Duty was good for a few days, but you did it for a few days. Now we want to see what's new. And beyond, let's be honest here, Call of Duty isn't exactly the most popular thing amongst my viewer base anyway. So, I agree there. I think that if I had kept doing Call of Duty, that people would have got super burnt out. I'm not saying that I'm never going back to Infinite Warfare. In fact, I want to. And if, by some reason, Dishonored 2 ends up being a shorter game than, say, what I'm expecting, like, let's say it ends up being 8 to 10 hours instead of 12 to 15 hours like I think it is, then maybe I will take a session of gameplay between now and Tuesday to play Infinite Warfare, maybe check out the zombies and do a little bit more multiplayer. But I'm certainly not promising that, okay? I do want to do it, but right now with all the new releases that are out, that's my focus, and that's what I really want to focus on because I'm more interested in it, quite honestly. Now, ultimately, my goal right now is to at least finish one playthrough of Dishonored 2 by Tuesday. I really, really doubt that I'm going to be beating this game twice by Tuesday. That would be one hell of an undertaking, and I really don't realistically see that happening. But what I am hoping is that I could beat it at least once. Because on Tuesday, we've got Watch Dogs 2. And I'm very interested in that because it looks like it may be one of the most improved franchises in a sequel that I've ever seen. It seems like they directly listened to all of the feedback from people who played the first game, and they made a more interesting protagonist with supporting characters that are, you know, pretty interesting as well, improved gameplay, graphics, everything. It looks like the game has really been upgraded from the first one. Not to say I didn't like Watch Dogs 1. I think I was in the minority of people who actually really liked Watch Dogs 1. So all these improvements can only mean that it's going to be a better game and a better playthrough, and I'm looking forward to it. So that's going to be Tuesday, and then, of course, later on at the end of this coming week is Pokemon Moon. I am playing Moon, by the way, I've decided, okay? So, that being said, this is going to be quite the busy week for new game releases, and I don't think I'm going to be having time to say, go back to play Infinite Warfare or whatever. I'm going to be so, you know, tackling all the new stuff that I'm really going to just have to focus on that. Okay? So, ladies and gents, that's kind of the deal, alright? And I'm very excited because new stuff means new gameplay for you every day. Stuff not getting burnt out or tired, but more interesting, right? I really remember liking Dishonored 2 a ton. Liking Dishonored 1 a ton. So, this is exciting for me. You know, I'm really geared up for the next few days for Dishonored Mania. And, like I said, if I get a chance maybe on Saturday to do like a first impressions video for KO Gaming, I think that's what I'm going to be doing, simply because I don't know how long it's going to take me to actually do 2 full runs of this game. The good news, however, is that this next to last week of November, which is Thanksgiving week, traditionally, there's not much going on that week. For whatever reason, they don't usually release a lot of games, and this year there's nothing really that week. So that means I'll be able to do continuing playthroughs of all these games that I didn't finish up, and or a second run through Dishonored 2 that week. And hopefully I'll also have an opportunity to start putting out all the reviews and things for these games if I haven't had a chance to do any of them by then. Okay? So there you go. That's how I am tackling everything. All right. So thanks, everyone. Election mania. People are still all abuzz about the American presidential election. It is what it is. It's over. I had a lot to say about it on Twitter yesterday because people were absolutely going nuts about this. Some people one way, some people the other way. Some people were acting like whiny little babies because one person won over another. Some people were just being nasty to each other. And I kind of vented about it on Twitter. And a lot of people said, why don't you just make a video about it? And my answer is because I'm not a political guy on YouTube. All right? And I'm not saying that one day I wouldn't be. I mean, there is potential that maybe eventually, one day, that would be something that people would want to see. But it's certainly not today. Right now, I'm inundated with games in the hardcore gaming season of 2016. And the videos that I have to put out have to be in line with what I do for a business. Not drop everything to make a drama video about the politics and everything because that's what everyone wants to see because it's hype and drama. I've never been like that. You guys know that. You guys know that, you know, I have a mission on YouTube and I kind of adhere to it. So if you wanted to hear my thoughts about the election, you can hear them all on Twitter. They were all released yesterday. Oh, and by the way, I lost about 40 Twitter followers during it. You know, not that you would follow someone on social media to actually get their opinions on stuff. No, obviously not. I mean, why would I? 40 people apparently are so dumb that they followed me on Twitter and then didn't want to hear my thoughts about current events, which is pretty much the point of social media. You figure that one out. I don't know. Either it's they didn't want to hear my thoughts or they didn't agree with my thoughts, but I also wasn't aware that in order to follow someone on social media, you have to 100% agree with their thoughts. I don't know. I'm not a closed-minded person, and I actually do enjoy hearing thoughts from all different kinds of people. I mean, I actually follow a different variety of people on Twitter that are both sides of the political fence so that I can kind of get a feed of both situations and both points of view, per se. And I formulate my point of view based off of a full, bigger picture rather than just one point or the other point or one side or the other side. But anyway, I am certainly not going to be making any video for YouTube about this because I'm too busy. If this had happened in, say, February, and there was no game releases and I was bored as hell and people were clamoring for content, then I might make a vlog about it. Not in the middle of November, the middle of the busiest gaming season of the year when I have all this stuff to work on. No. Sorry that I'm focused on work and not on drama and shit like everyone else on YouTube, but that's just the truth. Okay? So it is what it is. Okay, what else? Not too much. I think what I'll do is I'll just go through the plugs, and then we'll get started, okay, everyone? So, since I will be running for president in 2020, as I announced yesterday, the official announcement on my pre-stream video yesterday, as well as on Instagram and Twitter, I need to seek some campaign fundraising. As you know, it's very expensive to become the president. Donald Trump spent millions upon millions, hundreds of millions of his own money on his campaign. And yes, he did get tons of donors as well, but unprecedented the amount of his own money that he spent on his campaign to get elected. Hillary Clinton spent, like, ridiculously way more than him and lost, which is hilarious. But what I'm saying is, it's expensive to become president. You can't be a Joe Nobody and get the public eye on you in order to become the leader of this country. So, there are many ways that you can help support this business of daily live streaming games and on-demand videos so that I can become the next president of the United States. First of all, and by the way, I'm joking. It's a parody, okay? Don't freak out. I'm kidding. Obviously, everything that I'm about to mention allows me to continue making gameplay videos for you on a daily basis. It has nothing to do with the presidential run. Because I know some people will try to spin it like stupidity. Anyway. Alright. First of all, Loot Crate. If you've been watching my videos recently, you'll know that I've been unboxing a lot of Loot Crates. Loot Anime, Loot Gaming. I just unboxed the brand new Marvel Gear and Goods Loot Crate that had an amazing piece of Doctor Strange merchandise in it. If you haven't seen that unboxing yet, it's been live for a couple days over on the King of Hate vlogs, and I strongly recommend that you check it out. Okay, it's really good. And of course, I've unboxed regular Loot Crates for over 2 years. Coming up next month, I'll be unboxing the WWE Slam Crate, which I'm looking forward to seeing what the heck that's all about, okay? But the point I'm making is, if you're interested in Loot Crate, after seeing me unbox a bunch of these things, and maybe you want to get a subscription for yourself or for a friend, you know, especially with the holidays coming up, it's a good gift idea. You can use my referral link and discount code to save yourself 10% on any new subscription. Just go to lootcrate.com/darksidephil and use the discount code SAVEME10DSP. That's SAVEME10DSP. That works on any of the subscriptions they have. It's not just one particular one, anyone. And by the way, at any time you can cancel a subscription, and if you start a new one and use that code again, you save another 10%. Okay, so pretty cool. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter at TheyCallMeDSP, where you're going to get nightly schedule updates. You'll always be in the know about when I'm uploading videos, when videos are going live. Last night, I released my review of Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, and that boosh announcement went live on Twitter. It always goes live whenever there's new stuff going on, okay? And of course, you get my thoughts and insight into all kinds of stuff. You can only get my thoughts about the election on Twitter, because that's where I shared them. I'm not going to be doing them on YouTube because that's not what I'm here for, okay? So, at TheyCallMeDSP, thanks to those who do follow me there, and to the 40 people who basically unfollowed me on Twitter last night, well, shame on you. I don't know what else to say. You obviously don't understand what social media is for. Maybe you shouldn't have followed me in the first place. Okay, KO Gaming. This is where I'm doing edited content, like full quality game reviews, right? Montages, countdowns, and coming up near the end of this year will be my year-end series, including the best and worst games of the year, the funniest moments of the year, and maybe even a Christmas special. We'll have to see. So, it's going to be some pretty exciting stuff going on KO Gaming shortly. I strongly recommend you head over there and subscribe, youtube.com/KOGaming1, as I just mentioned. Last night, I just reviewed Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, but previously, I've reviewed, just recently, Titanfall 2, Battlefield 1, Mafia 3, and the DLC for Dark Souls 3, and I'm going to be pumping out more videos shortly. Okay, Patreon. Patreon is huge, alright? Patreon is definitely important. Patreon is the reason why, honestly, I think this month I'm going to be able to pay my bills. I'm not even lying to you guys. Like, because of what's been going on with my business recently, because of the dip in viewership, which makes no fucking sense. And I think that, honestly, there's no dip in viewership. I think that YouTube recalculated their algorithms to make it so that certain views are not counting anymore. Like, if you watch only a certain percentage of one of my videos instead of the whole thing, it's not counting anymore as a view, which is bullshit, because you're still seeing the fucking ad before the video. So basically, it's a way for YouTube to double dip on their own revenue, while the common content creator gets screwed over. But I wouldn't be surprised, because that's how YouTube's operated since day one. But anyway, I digress. Things have not been as good as I'd hoped with the business recently, and the patron support that I got in October certainly helped. I had a surge in patrons that allowed me to pay my bills this month. So please, let's keep it up, alright? For the month of November, if we can get just as many people pledging as last month, it would be amazing, and it certainly is helping. The way I'm looking at it is, if I can get like one new patron a day, even if it's $1 a day, that's tremendous. And I've actually, if you can believe it, I've been getting that since the past couple of weeks. So we'll see if I can keep that pattern up. But anyway, right now, the big event for this month is the return of the Multiplayer Madness event. If you're not aware, the way this works is, if we hit the funding goal for this month, which is the same as always, I didn't raise the funding goal or whatever just because I had a surge in patrons last month. If we hit the funding goal and you pledge $5 or more, you'll be able to play a multiplayer game with me either in late December or early January. The games are including Battlefield 1, Overwatch, Gears of War 4, Titanfall 2, and both Call of Duty Infinite Warfare and Modern Warfare Remastered are also being added to that listing. The way it's going to work is that you get into a scheduled session with me, with other viewers as well, other patrons. We'll have voice communication. It's going to be a set thing where it's all regulated. It's going to be good. The reason that this works this way is because, number one, when I used to do the open multiplayer events, tons of people wanted to play, and half the time, the vast majority of people didn't get to play, because, let's face it, these games only have lobbies of, 10 people? You know what I mean? So it's not like you could have a giant match with 1 million people, so a lot of people always got disappointed because they couldn't get into the matches. Number two, a lot of the times when I did these public matches, there was mass trolling. You know, dumb kids who just want to ruin everyone's fun, going in there and fucking saying nasty shit and ruining the matches by not playing seriously. This will eliminate all of that. And the last time I did this session earlier this year, I already had this as a goal earlier this year, it was tremendously successful. People overwhelmingly told me that not only did they had fun doing it, they wanted it again because it was so successful. Now, I'm purposely scheduling this event for right after Christmas and then in early January. So therefore, people who get these games for Christmas can participate, and those who get maybe money for Christmas can go buy these games and then play in early January. So please consider pledging if you haven't. It's not just about this event, all right? But this is obviously a major part of it. As little as $1 helps. I'll say that again. A lot of people say, oh, I can't, I really like to help support Phil, but I don't have a lot of money. Listen, $1 a month is not a lot to you in most cases, and I do realize there's some viewers of mine that just literally have no money. Okay, I understand that. But for most people who watch my stuff, you obviously have disposable income. You're watching my videos. You have unlimited streaming internet, and you're watching on a mobile device. Obviously, $1 a month is not that big of a deal for you. But for me, if a ton of people pledge $1 a month, it adds up. Okay, so please consider pledging if you haven't. You can also get personal perks like text or verbal thank yous in my videos, getting your questions answered on Ask the King, which, by the way, is coming up on Thanksgiving, November 24th. Will be the next episode of my Q&A show, Ask the King. You can even get private Q&A videos made, and it looks like probably by the end of this week, I'll be making a bunch of private Q&A videos for those who pledge in the month of October. All right. Last but not least, everyone, my girlfriend Leanna owns her own business called The Black Current. She sells handmade glycerin soaps and wax tart melts. Please consider this as not only a gift for yourself, maybe buy it for yourself because you want some nice smelling soap and you want your house to smell good, melt a nice wax tart, but also as a gift for the holidays. You know, Christmas is right around the corner. A lot of people are always looking for something creative for a loved one or a family member or significant other, and you can't think of anything. This might be something unique that you could do. She does custom gift baskets. I always forget to mention this, especially for Christmas coming up. Maybe you want to do a nice custom basket or custom order certain soaps and things and put it together for a nice presentation for someone. You could do that. All right, check it out. Etsy.com/shop/The Black Current. Don't take my word for it. Check out the website for yourself, and you'll see right there, boom, tons of customer feedback from the 1.5 years that she's been in operation. Everyone who orders loves her stuff. All right. Thank you, everyone. Let us begin with the premiere of Dishonored 2. There will be 2 streams of this again today. I want to remind everyone, this stream will be around 3 to 3.5 hours. The later stream will be about 2 hours. And so we'll get a ton of gameplay in today. That later stream is at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. FYI. All right. Thank you, everybody. Let us begin.